Okay, we're going to assemble the rails and the end plates. Okay, we have removed the rails from the box. We've taken the T-track and the polyethylene out, and we've got them laid out here. Zoom in real close here. You can see that the flange has been machined away for the top 16 inches. That's so that we can bring the carriage to the top, pull it out, rotate it, change it from rip mode to cross-cut mode and back, or take the saw out and put the router in. These both go to the top. This side is the front. The back side has the ribs on it. So, let's go ahead and assemble it in just one moment. This is the end plate that goes at the top. It has the label on it and the nylon bushing that the rope goes through for the counterbalance. Okay, we've got the angle here. We've taken the rails and set them down on the sawhorses. We've clamped one of them down to secure this while we put the rail together. The top of these, or the front comes up. The radius or the flange on this angle curves away from the rails. So let's get started. This takes a 3/8 socket. And these are self-tapping screws. Be very careful not to strip this out. Torque is too low. Need to bring it up a little more. All right, we got that in. Now we're going to clamp this other one down. We really only have to secure one of these, but before we can clamp this, we have to set the distance so that we can actually get this clamped. So we set that up there, then we'll move this clamp over. Get them close with the screwdriver, then we snug them up by hand because we don't want to over torque. Now I'm going to put in the screwdriver, pull off the socket, I'm going to torque these by hand. Again, be careful not to over torque these. If you do, you can put a long screw in there and actually cut out the torque from your tap. 2 of these fasteners are sufficient for the load stability. And we can turn around it. Now we're going to take the portability kit and put the knobs together so you can see how that goes and how we use them. This is a 3-inch fully tapped screw. Put it in there. We get one of these nylon spacers and put it on. Then we get a nut and put it on this. The kit requires 6 of these. This nut is there because I can't see it back out. I'm going to mention that. Let me get 6 of these. Okay, now we have 4 more knobs. They take 1 1/4 bolt. There's 4 of these. And it's pretty much put together the same way. These knobs that we just put together, they need to be tightened with a wrench, but they work with these strut nuts. They go on unistrut. Okay, we have the struts all drilled up. These end holes on the upper strut are for some of these longer knobs. And the upper strut, the opening goes up. The lower strut, the opening is down. The pivot plate sits on the back side of this. These two holes at the far end are for these knobs, and the far end over here are for these knobs as well. Move the sawhorse and make room. And now we take these socket head cap screws, we drop them in these holes. We now have the socket head cap screws in both of these and the nuts in place. So we just take the Allen wrench and just torque these down. Now that we have the struts assembled and completed and the guide frame completed, it's time to assemble those together. So we take one of these knobs and a strut nut and we put it in over here. Okay, we put this knob through here and get it started. And that's where we leave it. Take this one. The grooves on the strut nut go towards the flange. We do the same thing at all four corners. Just need to get it started. We have low-flying trains around here. Now we're ready to put the struts on. Okay, now we have the strut. We have this bolt right here, that socket head cap screw. It's going to come in contact with this surface here. That is how we index these together. We orient these nuts so they'll fit into the slot. And we make sure that this bolt on the bottom side is slid up against the rail. Just rotate that in, and that strut nut comes right into position. Then we go to the other end and do the top. Again, we make sure that this socket head cap screw comes in contact with that surface. Slide that in, spin it on. And we do it on the last one. Get that tightened up. Now we're ready to put the frame on the main assembly. Okay, now that that's assembled, we're going to put it on the frame that we built previously. Let's pick this up, bring it over, and set it down.